When Rick punishes Morty and Summer for stealing his phone charger by placing them in the Matrix, he accidentally falls asleep before pulling them out, leaving them in the simulation for the equivalent of 17 years. This gives Summer enough time to become the CEO of a major tech company, allowing herself to invest all her time, money, and resources into getting her and her brother out of the simulation. Only, once they do get out, their minds are still 17 years older than they usually are, which does make for some interesting character dynamics. Beth gets to experience having a friend in a wiser and more mature Summer, and Rick gets to have fun with a cynical and jaded PTSD Morty. But of course, the charm of adult Summer and Morty was too good to be true, as adult Summer turns out to be a bit of an ass who's too broke to afford anything herself, and adult Morty ends up trying to destroy a power plant that would shut down America's power grid. But Morty and Summer have a nice moment of reconciliation that ends with them agreeing to have their minds blown in order to properly enjoy their childhoods. They do try to leave messages behind to their younger selves though, just so they can remember parts of what happened in the Matrix, but the messages don't work and they revert back to being their oblivious teenage selves again. And I thought it was a lot of fun. While we have seen several episodes based on simulations in the past, this was one of the first episodes that focused on the actual consequences of what it must feel like to actually be pulled out of a simulation. So I enjoyed seeing how Morty and Summer were affected by being stuck in a matrix for the equivalent of 17 years, especially since it led to some really hilarious charger-based puns. But perhaps more importantly, I was really impressed with the voice work in this episode. I liked Ian Cardone and Harry Belden's work on Season 7, but they've really perfected their voices as Rick and Morty, respectively here. So I was really impressed with how much their voices have improved here, especially since I thought they sounded really good in the first place. But their work seemed so effortlessly seamless here, to the point where I was fully engaged with the story being told without even thinking about the voices. I fully believed that I was listening to the old Rick and Morty voices, which I thought made the episode feel like a classic Rick and Morty adventure. And since that adventure was a lot of fun, I personally think that it made for one of the best premiere episodes of Rick and Morty ever. So if this is any indication of how Season 8 is going to be, then I'm definitely looking forward to watching the rest of it. But I guess we'll see how the next episode of Rick and Morty will actually turn out to be once it gets released on Sunday.